Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Kings podcast. Today we have our first guest of the year, Connor Euler, who runs for Hersey Cross Country. And today we are going to be going over the Week 4 matchups for this week, talking about who will boom and who will bust. We hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Kings podcast. Today we are in the booth with our special guest, as you may can tell. Connor Euler is in here, and we're going to be talking about the Week 4 matchups. If you watched our last week's podcast, it's the same format, but we do have our guest in here, Connor Euler, and like I said in past podcasts, to look out for this because we're having Hersey athletes in here to talk about fantasy football. Here's our Hersey athlete, cross-country runner, Connor Euler. How's your season been going so far?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jack, and everyone else. It's been going pretty well. We had a division championship meet last Tuesday, and we won. We defeating Prospect and Buffalo Grove, so that was our 5th straight East Division title. But things have been going pretty well. We're ranked number 15 in the state, and we're looking to hopefully win conference back this year from Barrington, and then go on to state and hopefully be top 10 there. But yeah, it's going good.
All right, that is great to hear. Like I said, guys, keep a lookout because we're going to be pumping out these podcasts with Hersey athletes every other week. But let's get into the fantasy things right away here. Let's start with the first matchup, the Washington football team at the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I think this matchup's going to be a little interesting. Washington defense is definitely very good, but I look to see Atlanta kind of get their offense going. I think Calvin Ridley hasn't been the best. He's been decent, but I look to see him kind of get some more targets from Matt Ryan and kind of get that offense a little bit of a spark and probably get a TD this week.
Yeah, that is I completely forgot about Calvin Ridley because the question about him was once Julio Jones leaves, how's he been doing? He hasn't had a huge boom week so far. The kind of person who people have been ignoring is Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson has put up a couple good weeks. He's kind of been like the agility back there. Mike Davis is just kind of an older back. It's kind of weird how they've been balancing those guys. But if you're in a deeper league, you can maybe consider them as flex plays. And then going on the Washington side of things, I think Antonio Gibson had a good bounce back week, but he also had like a 75-yard toss to him, so that did inflate his stats a bit. But Washington has had kind of a rough start. They will definitely look to get back, in the right track of things against Atlanta, who has done like nothing. You guys seen anything with this matchup? Anyone you like?
Maybe one guy I would start thinking about is Terry McLaurin. I think maybe he has a bounce back sort of week. Taylor Heineke is obviously not a very good NFL starter. Oh, yeah. No hate for him, but Terry McLaurin should get some more touches against the Atlanta team than who did Washington play last week?
Remember the Bills.
So that was a great secondary. I think I was low on Terry last week, but he should get.
That was the main discourse.
Last
week, Diggs or McLaurin.
Yep.
But beyond that, let's just go on to the next matchup. We got the Texans at Buffalo here, and going back to, like I just said, Washington at Buffalo, the main discourse of last podcast was McLaurin versus Diggs. McLaurin got about 10 in PPR, Diggs got about 12 in PPR. So pretty even there, but Diggs, I think, has a good week, partially because Dawson Knox and Emmanuel Sanders stole his touchdowns last week. Diggs can get a touchdown, he would have had a huge boom week. I still don't know about that running back situation. Zach Moss, I do believe, got a touchdown. I think you own him in our league. So,
I do, yep.
I think he got a touchdown. I'm not positive, but still, like Singletary and them, it's not really clear-cut. Maybe a flex play if you want. But on the Houston side of things,
there's really no one. I don't
that
think.
Running back, trio is, I don't know about that. And what, you guys like anyone in Houston?
I like Brandon Cooks still.
Oh,
I think he has been an absolute stud so far this year. Brandon Cooks, again, this is a great Buffalo secondary. Tre'Davious White, he's probably going to be locking him down. But still, look for maybe flex play, like you said, maybe low-end wide receiver too. But I don't think anything more than that. But, I wouldn't count him out. Could still have a great week. Been playing really well so far this year out of nowhere, honestly.
Completely escaped my mind. That good call on Brandon Cooks there because he's been consistent. And then moving on to Detroit at Chicago.
All right, so Detroit at Chicago. I have Allen Robinson as my player so far, or my player to watch out for. Honestly, last week the Chicago Bears did not look very good. Rookie quarterback Justin Fields looked absolutely garbage. Could be the play calling, whatever you want to attribute it to. But, stats are the stats. No one on the Bears offense got, anything last week. But against a really, really weak Detroit secondary, Allen Robinson should have a little comeback, and hopefully Justin Fields can play a little bit better.
And a weak team as a whole, Detroit,
had
that
Detroit.
Devastating loss to a 66-yard field
goal. Yeah, only Detroit.
I also wanted to say, do we have any more insight on this QB situation? Because I do know Nagy said anyone's up to start this week. What do you guys think about that? Namely, who's the best option?
I think I've been hearing some injury reports, and if Dalton's healthy, which he's trending to, right now he has a questionable designation, but if he's healthy, I think they're going to play him because Nagy has been saying over and over that if Dalton's healthy, they're playing him. And honestly, who's the better answer? It depends. Because last week, Matt Nagy did not utilize Justin Fields at all. And if he's gonna do that again, then Dalton's the better answer. But if he's actually going to utilize Justin Fields and roll him out of the pocket and get him running, then I think Justin Fields is obviously the right choice.
And you almost want to, start Fields this week. Starting him against that Browns defense, just absolutely got clobbered. 9 sacks. That's just sad. But, again, going back to players, I think DeAndre Swift will have a good week. TJ Hawkinson will look to bounce back and have a good week. And David Montgomery should run all over that Lions defense. So let's go into the Panthers at the Cowboys.
Yeah, before we move on to that, I just wanted to ask a quick question here. You mentioned Hawkinson. He had an off week last week. Yep. And that's been a trend for so many, pretty good top-tier tight ends this year besides, Kelsey.
Yeah.
So
it's
do you guys honestly think there's any 100% certainty when you're starting a tight end at this point?
Oh my God.
Any locks, or is it just boom or bust? Would you say?
Besides Kelsey and maybe Waller, but I don't.
Yeah. Even he's been a little.
Yeah, he had I think he had an off.
I don't even know.
Tight ends are the hardest.
Certain.
That's why people have been saying Travis Kelsey taking him super early in the first round isn't such a horrible idea.
I was high on him. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
trying to credit.
Yeah, that was a debate in the first podcast, but I don't. Tight ends are just the worst. But yeah, let's get into Carolina at Dallas.
Yeah, for sure. Big headline going in this week is with McCaffrey being injured, we have Chuba Howard taking the helm. A lot of people. Did I say his name right?
Yeah,
I did say it.
Chuba
Okay.
Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard. I think I might have said Howard. My bad. But yeah, so that's the big storyline going into here. Do you guys? I'm not 100% certain if he's going to put up Mike Davis numbers because Mike Davis was really the only back, and they have another back. I believe they have Royce Freeman, not C.J. Henderson.
Yeah, they do.
They have Royce Freeman, and Coach did say that they may be looking for him to have backup duties or even put him in for a few plays. But Sam Darnold has been so good passing this year. And they've got Robbie Anderson, who I believe is healthy. So I think that they're just going to keep it in the air mostly against this weak Dallas secondary.
Yeah, DJ Moore has looked good.
DJ Moore has been phenomenal.
Yeah,
but
really
I was going to mention
Anderson has been kind of weak.
Yeah, I was going to mention Anderson just because I think he's going to be looking to have a bounce back week. If not this week, maybe next week. But I think DJ Moore will continue to put up WR1 numbers.
And then on the Cowboys side of things, Zeke had a really good week. Amari Cooper, not so much. He'll look to bounce back. CeeDee Lamb, to kind of want to get the numbers up a bit. He did fine. But Amari Cooper, I think he had around 5 in PPR.
Yeah, he only had three receptions for 26 yards. That's nothing really.
Yeah, they're going to look to bounce back. You guys see anything else in this Dallas matchup?
It's good to see Zeke's putting up the numbers we want him to. I know there was some concerns really early in the season, but I think he'll.
I think the main storyline in this game, though, is Carolina a good enough football team to beat a good football team?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
3-0 right now against an 0-9 combined record. Dallas is a pretty solid team. They brought it to the Buccaneers week 1. and I think they're 2-1 now, or are they?
Yes, they are 2-1.
So 2-1. Can Carolina beat them? I don't know. Is Teddy Bridgewater the answer there? I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
We'll see.
Then we go into the Colts at the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, I think this will be an interesting game. I mean, Miami's 1-2, and the Colts are surprisingly 0-3. I mean, going in, I thought they were going to be fighting for a playoff spot, and right now they do not look like they're doing that. But I like the Colts in this one. I think they bounce back. I mean, with Carson Wentz healthy, I think Michael Pittman's a guy to look out for.
Darnold,
He's been amazing. He's been getting over 10 targets per game, and so I definitely start him. I have him on the bench in a couple of my leagues, so I think I'm going to finally start him because they've got a pretty good matchup against Miami. But, I think the Colts finally get out a win this week.
Yeah, I also wanted to talk about Jonathan Taylor. Not the best fantasy points, but he still hasn't gotten into the touchdown zone yet. So I just Jonathan Taylor, you have to keep starting him based on where you drafted him, and you just got to hope something starts happening. It's very similar to last year. Nyheim Hines is still getting touches. I feel like they just need to give Jonathan Taylor a bit more, and he'll be a stud. On the Miami side of things, Brissett played okay actually against the Raiders. They came out throwing. Waddle had a decent game in PPR standards, didn't put up a ton of yards. Will Fuller, I think, got around 3 targets, and I think Devontae Parker also got around 3 targets. So they have some weapons there. I think they throw again against this Colts defense, who hasn't looked the greatest. But besides that,
did Myles Gaskin do anything?
Yeah, he got around
he did
13 in
13.
PPR.
All right.
He did okay,
yeah.
But
Colts defense is a lot.
You know why that was?
tough.
It's because Malcolm Brown came in and
had
had
that's
a decent
right.
run for a touchdown.
Forgot
if
about
Gaskin
Malcolm
got
Brown.
that touchdown, it would have been a very good week for him.
Sure.
I think for wide receivers on Miami, though, you just got to wait until Tua comes back to be fully in on him.
Yeah, those guys are flex guys, maybe a flex play just because.
I think Parker or even Fuller can move up to wide receiver 2 territory once Tua's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how Tua even looks when he comes back.
Yeah, I don't like Tua, really.
Yeah,
I think he's better than Brissett, though. So.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure. But, that's a good point. We'll just kind of have to wait and see how that all plays out. Then, the Browns at the Vikings. The Browns absolutely slaughtered the Bears. The defense played amazing. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen both had really respectable weeks for the Vikings. But the big storyline is Dalvin Cook. Does he come back this week? He missed last week, and Madison had a great week. So if Dalvin Cook's out, play Madison.
He had near 30 points last week PPR.
Yeah, totally. But if Dalvin Cook comes back, that will be good for all you Dalvin Cook owners based on you draft him 1, 2, or 3. The big storyline, OBJ comes back for the Browns.
Great bounce back week for OBJ. Against the Bears team, who kind of gave up in the second half. Some of those points might be garbage points for him. But another guy I'd like to add, Kareem Hunt.
Oh, yes.
Kareem Hunt was big for a lot of guys last week, throwing him in at running back 2 maybe. I don't know if he's going to do as good, but, Minnesota's defense is not the best. I think Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb could both have good weeks. They run the ball a lot there, and
that's the one tandem in the league where you can confidently
kind of run both.
Yeah, you're just praying your guy has a better week as Hunt did last week. Then we got the Giants at the Saints.
All right, so Giants Saints. My guy is going to be obvious, Alvin Kamara. I don't know who else you could put there. Really, no one else. The Saints have really no one else, and the Giants are just a very bad football team. But Alvin Kamara, I'm hoping to have a great week with him. I don't know. What else do you guys think?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about a storyline real quick about Saquon finally putting up a decent week, putting up around 22 in PPR leagues. Saquon had a really good week against the Falcons. Bear that in mind, but still, it was good to just see him do something, because if he didn't, it was panic mode for sure.
Yeah, I think one other thing, I know Connor talked about how bad the Giants are, which I agree. They're definitely not a good football team, but I was actually reading an article earlier this week, and Daniel Jones has actually been pretty surprising. He's top 15 in the league in QB rating, and he's actually only turned the ball over once, so he's actually not doing that bad. I think, as Jack mentioned, Saquon getting healthier is only going to help that offense. So I think he could be decent. I would definitely not start him, but just look down the line. They might have some favorable matchups, and maybe you might start him if you have bye weeks or just need a QB.
Yeah, and that reminds me. Their actually wide receiver core is very injured. Kenny Gallaudet, I believe, has been dealing with a hamstring injury, and Sterling Shepard got hurt. I know you're an owner of Sterling, so how was that to see?
I was pretty upset because it was going to be the first week I actually started him after he had that really good week, week 2 or 3, or week 2, I think. But yeah, so I only got 3 points out of him. He left pretty early. I think he had a hamstring injury as well.
Yeah, I think they all have something. With similar hamstrings.
I don't know I know Darius Slayton's also injured too.
Yeah.
He was playing it.
Yeah, so that might hurt.
Yeah.
But Saquon's going to get receptions if you're Saquon and they celebrate.
Yeah.
And then going into the Titans at the Jets.
Well, New York Jets are just a dumpster fire right now. I honestly would not look to start anybody on the Jets. Worst team in football right now. So I'm just going to skip over the Jets. But as for Tennessee, A.J. Brown is week to week right now. And all these wide receivers have hamstring injuries. I think Brown also has one. But, I was watching a little bit of this game last week, and they were in the red zone. Why the heck did Mike Vrabel put in J.D. McNichols in the red zone when you have Derrick Henry? Can you guys explain that to me? I was just dumbfounded by that. You have one of the best running backs in football, and you put in the backup. That's got to get some.
You got to switch up the reps based on what you see in the defense, I guess.
That's got to get some Henry owners pretty fueled up, I think.
Just going back to the Jets for a second, I think maybe Corey Davis is a flex.
Yeah, no, he had one.
He's the only guy who's relevant.
Yeah, he had one good, I think 20+ week one or something.
Slight flex play, around 10, so maybe in deeper leagues or if you have a couple injuries. But that whole matchup is kind of self-explanatory. It sucks if you're an A.J. Brown owner, but I don't think there's much else to say about that.
Is Julio Jones going to...
Yeah, so I've kind of been ignorant on Julio Jones. If anyone has any insight on him, if A.J. Brown is out, I think Julio Jones has a big week for sure, but I have kind of been ignorant on his stats so far this year. I haven't really been keeping up with him. But again, we'll just have to see how he does. But yeah, if A.J. Brown's out, Julio Jones should be in for a good week. But then going into the Chiefs at the Eagles.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs kind of need to bounce back 1-2. They're not looking too good. Their defense has been atrocious the past couple of weeks. But I do Herbert lit him up last week, so I like Jalen Hurts. I think he could have a good week because, like I said, that Kansas City defense is not good at all. But ultimately, I think Kansas City would win this week, and Mahomes obviously will go off again, as he usually does, because that Philly team ain't the best either.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for the defense to maybe bounce back just based on how the Eagles played against the Cowboys last week. And then I wanted to get into Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. He had a pretty good week. He did fumble again, but they did run a lot, especially after the pick and then by Mahomes. They kind of gave Clyde Edwards the ball, but he did fumble. But he had an okay week. I think he had right around 22 in PPR, so it was a good week for him. But the Chiefs, it really, like you said, it really comes down to how their defense plays.
Yeah. How about the Eagles, too? I think they're getting Zach Ertz a little more involved now. I noticed it kind of got Goddard and Ertz. Hurts to Ertz.
Yeah. The Eagles are, still trying to figure things out. It will be, I think the Chiefs, this is just their bounce back opportunity as a team. But then getting into Arizona at Los Angeles, this is probably my pick for game of the week. Kyler Murray remains
it's gotta be really.
very solid. DeAndre Hopkins, Chase Edmonds has been putting up surprisingly good numbers. James Conner is not really relevant anymore. Chase Edmonds, though, he could be like a flex play or RB2 because he's been getting a lot of that receiving upside. And then on the Rams side of things, they beat the Buccaneers. Deshaun Jackson actually had a deep pass, but Cooper Kupp is your guy. Cooper Kupp has been dropping 30 a week. He's been looking crazy. If you're a Robert Woods owner, that definitely makes you angry because he hasn't been doing quite as well. Daryl Henderson looks to return this week, but if he doesn't, Sony Michel should have an okay week again. And even if Daryl Henderson does come back, I think.
How's the backfield? Do they split carries even when Henderson's
so how
like
it
healthy?
Was Henderson was the number one back for 2 weeks, and then like Sony Michel got like 1 touch while Daryl Henderson was healthy. Then he got hurt. Sony obviously is going to get 100%. That's what I'm interested about is how they split Henderson.
So Sony Michel at 100% now for week 4?
Yeah, well, very close. I think Jake Funk had around 1 to 2 touches.
Who is that?
Shout out Jake Funk.
So yeah, you don't really have to worry about Jake Funk. But yeah, that's definitely going to be a good matchup. High scoring offenses. It'll be great to see.
And then wait, one more thing. Do you think Los Angeles stays at 4-0 or like moves to 4-0, or do the Cardinals?
I
surprise
think
people
win,
this year?
but I think it's going to be very close.
I think LA is going to be the team this year that goes for a while being undefeated and then falls in one of the later.
Well, I mean, their division's just so hard. Like, there's got to be one matchup there.
Oh, that is true. They are in that tough division, so it might come earlier than you think.
I mean, the Cardinals are there too, but last week they didn't have the greatest performance.
The Cardinals can never close out games. Like, their offense is great, but it's usually their defense.
I mean, last week it was the opposite. They were down like 13-19 against the Jags.
That was weird.
And then, I mean, obviously they had a great second half, I think. But
they did. Yeah, but it's the Jags.
But they're 3-0 too. So one of the 3-0 teams is going to fall off this week.
Then we have the Seahawks at the 49ers.
All right, so Seahawks 49ers. My guy this week is one of the San Francisco receivers, Brandon Ayuk. He had a nice little week last week, right?
Yes.
I don't remember exactly how many points it was, but he had a nice bounce back after Deebo Samuel has been kind of a stud so far this year. And Seattle side of the ball, Chris Carson maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
there's a lot of potential guys there.
Yeah, I think DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett have respectable weeks. Chris Carson has been pretty good. He's been getting a lot of touchdowns, so he's a good play. But San Francisco's running back situation is still kind of
stay away from that.
Yeah, I don't know if you really want to invest that much time into that.
I mean, if anyone, Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, but I think he's still. I think he had a shoulder injury.
Yeah,
but
he's
I think
questionable.
They're all questionable. But at this point in the season, players are going to start getting hurt, so you got to deal with that. But yeah, San Francisco's running back depth is kind of a mess right now. They had a very close game with the Packers, left 37 seconds on the clock for Aaron Rodgers, and he made him pay for it. But I think the Seahawks and the 49ers are kind of in the same boat, just like pretty average teams who can maybe slide into playoffs. But that should just be a normal game, not too many fantasy booms in there. And then we go into the Ravens at the Broncos.
Yeah, first off, shout out Justin Tucker. I know we mentioned that. What's the new record? 66?
66.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. But I noticed Marquise Brown, he had a few drops.
Yeah.
Those key passes too. It was late into the game, and he couldn't. I think he had 2 or 3 maybe. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if that calls for concern for fantasy owners because he's been great, the past couple of games, but it's just I was surprised to see that.
Once the Rashad Bateman comes back from IR, man, we'll see. But I mean, Marquise Brown has been a wide receiver 1, but hopefully when I have Bateman stashed in a couple of leagues, so hopefully he comes back and can kind of get some chemistry with Lamar.
That's. I just want to bring up a quick story. He's talking about how he had Bateman stashed. He actually dropped him in our league.
Yeah.
So they just had to quickly get that in there. Mark Andrews is still yet to get a touchdown. He actually put up over 100 yards receiving, but maybe looked for him to get into the touchdown this week. The Denver side of things still a split between Melvin Gordon and Williams. We'll see if that starts turning Williams' way.
When do you think that happens? How far into the season does Javonte take over?
I would say probably week 9 or 10. The standard rookie.
He's still a stash.
Kind of like a Cam Akers type. Cam Akers late in the season started going off for the Rams.
So he's still a stash.
Yeah, because Melvin Gordon's still split. We'll start to see it, but still stash him in leagues. Maybe a flex play because he dropped 14. But that will start turning his way. Denver wide receivers are in. Noah Fant looks to bounce back. Like we talked, tight ends are just so inconsistent. Yeah, Denver wide receivers are kind of a mess. Jerry Jeudy hurt. But besides, you guys got anything else on that matchup?
So I'm looking at it right now, and Denver's actually favored in this matchup.
Really?
Denver's favored by...
That's
Denver 3-0.
Well, yeah, they're
3-0.
They're again like
whoever.
They're 3-0.
They haven't really played anyone though. Yeah.
I probably agree. I think the Ravens do win this game just because Lamar is an absolute stud. Yeah. But I was just surprised to see Denver favored.
Maybe they'll stay in this one a little longer than people think.
For sure.
I think maybe it'll come down to the fourth.
It's a blowout.
Yeah.
Their defense is crazy. Their secondary.
Keep them in for a little bit, but definitely not the whole game.
Then let's go into the Steelers at the Packers.
Yeah, I think with this, I'm looking more towards the Steelers here. I know they haven't been the best, but the Green Bay defense is obviously, again, not very good. But I think the big question is if Deontay Johnson's healthy, definitely start him. I think Claypool and Juju, you can probably start, probably flexes. But if Deontay's healthy, definitely wide receiver 2 territory. And then I look to see Najee Harris run all over these guys because he kind of needs to get going.
Yeah, he had over 100 receiving yards last week. That is ridiculous. Like Akana said, you probably want to see him get on the ground even more because then it'll be like a Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
That'll be crazy. But, I just don't, those wide receivers for Pittsburgh are fine fantasy plays, but Big Ben has just been pissing me off. Big Ben is just old. Like, the age curve has gotten to him.
Exactly.
Like,
he needs to retire.
Yes, agree.
He just looks like a mess out there. Another old guy, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, obviously after all the hate he took after week 1 has looked, really solid. Devontae
Adams
and
has
Aaron
bounced
Jones.
back in a great way.
You always have those guys like Randall Cobb or Valdez-Scantling steal a touchdown at some point from like Tunyon. So Tunyon owners, again, tight ends being inconsistent.
Yep.
But
I think he's on waivers in a lot of my leagues.
Yeah.
He's just done nothing.
Yeah,
he's the boomer bust,
exactly.
like those tight ends. And then getting into the Buccaneers at the Patriots, Tom Brady returns. He's going to be emotional for about 30 seconds, and then
after
he's going to play his mind out.
Exactly.
He's going to be emotional. He's going to get that, all-time passing yards title from Drew Brees, and then he's going to lay the hammer down on Bill Belichick and show him who really won those Super Bowls.
Yep.
Yeah. Mac Jones has actually looked like okay, but like the team in front of him is just like no thank you.
There's no one.
I feel like Mac Jones has looked like the best rookie QB thus far. It's just the team like in front of him. I don't really like. Maybe Damian Harris, is he questionable? He might have been.
He might be questionable. But what about Aguilar? I think Aguilar is going to have a good week.
And Jacoby Myers has actually looked okay.
He's been decent.
Yeah. But James White, it was looking like his season is threatened with a hip injury. I saw something last night that he might be out for the year depending on how bad this hip thing is. So, that's interesting. Then Tampa Bay, guessing game usually. I don't know if Antonio Brown returns. I do believe
he's not going to.
He's not going to? Okay. Yeah, so COVID list. Godwin, Evans, obvious plays. The running back situation there is still iffy. Gronk.
Leonard Fournette over Rojo still?
Yeah,
Rojo had a nice week last week. But
I do still like Fournette a little better, but it's, again, a mess. They don't run. They use Brady.
Yeah, Tampa Bay just 50 passing attempts each game.
But, as the night game, Brady returning, that has all the hype, obviously. And let's get to the last matchup, Monday night, the Raiders at the Chargers.
All right, so this matchup, I'm going to shout out my one guy right here, Mike Williams. I took him like 163rd overall. Can't even tell which round that was. But Mike Williams has been an absolute baller so far this year. On the Raiders side of the ball, I don't know. Who do you like there?
Darren Waller, maybe. He's been questionable. Is he questionable?
No, he's not questionable.
What's his face? Peyton Barber, is that?
Yeah, Barber has took all the carries from Kenyon. I was I was so
that was weird.
As a Kenyon owner, I was so mad with that.
I was too. I have him in one of my leagues.
I've seen Raiders fans praising Derek Carr, give him respect.
Oh yeah, dude.
I guess he looks fine. 3-0 team. He's looked good.
Yeah.
Henry Ruggs has played pretty good, and Edwards. has played pretty good as well. But, yeah, Darren Waller definitely looking to get back in the thing. And then
I think the Chargers definitely take it to the Raiders here.
I do.
The Raiders fall
I
off.
think the Chargers are sick of, the Raiders and is it the Broncos?
Yeah,
in their
Broncos
division
are
being
there,
ahead of them, playing nobodies. The Chargers coming off a huge Chiefs win, I think, in SoFi Stadium, are looking to take it to the Raiders. Look for Herbert, obviously, to have a huge week. Keenan Allen, like you said, Mike Williams will have Austin Eckler, great fantasy running back. And, I think that's about it. Anything else to say, boys?
I got Jared Cook as my starting tight end this week, so it's coming down to Monday.
All right. I think it should be a high-scoring game.
I'm praying for a Jared Cook touchdown.
And something interesting? All these Monday Night Football games so far have been really good. They have all been ridiculous.
It's been crazy.
I definitely think that's going to happen again tonight. The Raiders are a pretty good football team.
Yeah, no, I think that will be another good, matchup compared to, Arizona at Los Angeles Rams, not Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it. Thank you all so much for watching. We thank our guest again, Connor Euler, for coming in. Maybe catch one of his meets and go watch him run. Or just wish him the best. But we will see you guys in the Week 5 matchups. Thank you so much for watching. For Connor, for Cohen, I'm Jack, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Watching.